Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with Hellions #2. Now, this book is actually getting interesting, as were in my personal opinion. Feel free to make fun of me down in the comments, but I feel like the other Krakoan books, other than X-Force at this moment, I really just kind of. This one is definitely the Dirty Dozens book, because at this point it is kind of all the baddies of Krakoa, which I hate. With that said, I hate that they put Alex in here, but what I think they're trying to do is they're saying that he is rehabilitated, so I think they're kind of going off of what happened with, what was that art called back in the day, Axis, where Havoc lost half of his face or whatever it was and became a villain, which to me was very much a smack in the face after the setup of what Rick Remender did with Uncanny X-Force, so that's just my opinion, take it or leave it. But nonetheless, Quanon, Harpoon, I think is his name, or something like that, I always forget. Wild Child, Orphan Maker, and Nanny, and then this guy, Empath. And, yeah, they're not exactly your X-Men, because they're going to this, they've been, what's the word I'm looking for? Acquisitioned, I guess, to go to shut down one of Sinister's old cloning facilities. And I like how Quanon says, "We're here to demolish the state home for foundlings." That's what the governor told us, but this is still our country, so you'll be doing your work under our supervision, X-Men or not. These aren't X-Men. They are dangerous mutants cleared for demolish and therapeutic missions only. And so, Wild Child here, looking at the cop, sees they brought a dog, and he goes, "You're the alpha? What?" Boom. So you can see that Wild Child very much, he's always wondering who's the alpha and whatnot. It's, you can see that tensions are rising pretty rough when it comes to that. Now, the people working on this book are Zeb Wells writing, Steven Segovia doing the art, David Curell doing the coloring, VC's Corey Petit doing the lettering, and here's everyone else that is associated with the book. And I think they put Nanny in here as kind of the comic relief because, you go into this orphanage and she's like, "I hear all the cryings of all these unloved children." And she comes up to Harpoon and she goes, "Don't cry, my sweet boy. Are you hungry? Nanny will take care of you. Come to Nanny. I know you're hungry. Get her off. Get her off me." And you come to find out that this is Empath once again screwing around. Now, it's like, "Oh, relax. She was already acting weird. I just gave her a little push." Now, Empath for me very much reminds me of Kid Omega, Quentin Quire, because he's just this arrogant, cocky little turd. You know what I mean? Now, spoilers. I'm going to spoil the next page because I want to make a point here. So, you see that Harpoon pulls a gun on his teammate. Bam! Right in the face. And Havoc's the only one that seems to have any type of remorse because he goes, "Oh, come the on." Now, this is what I don't like about the Dawn of X books. We get this really intense, you can see that this team does not like each other. You see that Alex, one of the original X-Men, you see the look in his eyes now because of resurrection protocols, blah, 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 blah. Quanon, I'll have to fill out a report. Let's move. Now, I know these are supposed to be a bunch of killers. I get that. There's no remorse. But I don't like how meaningless death has become. I can't remember what book it was I was reading that we went over where they were talking about how, it was Quentin, and I think it was Wolverine, where he said, "I find death boring." Now, again, I've said this a million times, but in the old X books from, Claremont, Liddell, Nikezia, people were changed by death. It taught them to be stronger and to care about the people you love. Look what happened to Magneto in the Age of Apocalypse because Legion killed Xavier. Xavier was Eric's best friend, and so he picked up the legacy of the X-Men even through the dark times of the Earth 295 universe. Now it's, I'll fill out a report, and that's the biggest impact that we get from a death. That this is a complaint of mine. Very bad. It kills for good storytelling, but nonetheless, just I like that moment because it took me back. I was like, whoa, but then reading as they just didn't care was sort of. Now, what I like is how Havoc keeps saying that he shouldn't be on this team. I'm fine. Quinon's like, I can read your mind. You're not okay. And I like that we kind of get this, again, duality as he looks past this mirror and he sees his old evil self, and it terrifies him. I mean, the artwork's a little, but you can see that he's starting to sweat a little bit. Now, the team runs into some clones. I don't really want to spoil it to the best of my ability, but nonetheless, these people are horrific. Now, the reveal was on the last issue, so if you haven't read the last issue, well, this kind of takes up the whole second issue, as you can see. So, Madelyne Pryor, the Goblin Queen, is back. If you're not sure who Madelyne Pryor is, go back and read shortly after the Dark Phoenix saga, where Scott falls in love with a woman named Madelyne Pryor, and then make sure to read Inferno, because this is the biological mother of Cable, by the way. So the X-Men, the Hellions, get into a big, rough fight with Maddie and her clones. Who are the clones? You definitely want to read it. Now, when I was saying about Nanny being the comic relief, she falls down and she goes, Nanny's been immobilized. Repeat, Nanny can't move. If I'm hearing correctly, Nanny's been scrambled. And so Orphan Making It comes in and goes, like, leave her alone, pizza face. Who's that? What's going on? And he's like, I can't move. Oh no, is he scrambling again? Will someone roll me over so I could see what's going on? So that was kind of funny. I know this is a serious book, so I really like that they really made sure to kind of put a little bit of comic relief. She kind of reminds me of C-3PO, and he's, kind of always the stooge in the heat of battle. Now again, it's kind of interesting what Wild Child's doing here, because he's like, I smell your blood. Injured. Too weak to lead. And Quinon actually says, do we have to do this now? Again, then there's another interesting reveal on the next page, which I don't want to spoil. But yeah, lots of good ideas coming about. Now, I'm a little perturbed that Madelyne's back, because her life and death was very tragic, because you wanted her to see her flourish. And what Claremont eventually reveals, it's heartbreaking. Now, I don't remember if that was what Claremont initially wanted to do with the character, or if that was studio mandated. If you guys can remember, let me know down in the comments below. But nonetheless, I like to see that she's back. I do kind of hope that there's maybe a redeeming factor for Madelyne Pryor. It would be nice to kind of see her back in the fold, kind of like how she was during the X-Men stay in the Australian outback after Fall of the Mutants. So if you haven't read that arc, definitely go back. Another great time during the Claremont era. And if you guys have enjoyed what you've seen with Hellions, please make sure to support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. I can see this one and X-Force are definitely the more interesting of the bunch, and then in third place thus far, excuse me, would definitely be Wolverine. Both X-Force and Wolverine are written by Benjamin Percy. Good stuff. Now, if you've enjoyed this review, we'd really appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe, and hit that fancy little nanny bell next to subscribe. That way, as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love to hear your feedback and have a dialogue with y'all down in the comments below, or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. And with all that said, I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.